Section 1 is about understanding persuasion in the contemporary workplace. Social media users have a tendency to congregate with like-minded people. Think about yourself and your social media and who you tend to congregate with. There's a term called opinion bubbles, and it's also called echo chambers, and these are communities of like-minded people who embrace narratives confirming their existing views. Persuasion is another term, and Richard Perloff defines persuasion as a process in which communicators try to convince other people to change their attitudes or behaviors regarding an issue through the transmission of a message in an atmosphere of free choice. Although we are subjected to a daily flood of print and electronic persuasive messages, we often fail to recognize the techniques of persuasion and manipulation. Hopefully, after this section, when you are on social media or you see a message, you'll realize the persuasion techniques that are being used in that message. Perloff's definition of persuasion has 5 components. The first one is persuasion is a symbolic process. Words, signs, images, they can all be infused with rich meaning that can be used to persuade. Persuasion involves an attempt to influence. It's a conscious effort to persuade someone so that you can achieve a specific outcome. Persuasion is self-persuasion. Ethical communicators make compelling, honest cases to support their arguments and then give others the choice to accept them or not. Persuasion involves the transmitting of a message. So these messages that are being transmitted, they can be verbal or they can be nonverbal. They can be conveyed face to face or through any other channel. And some of these persuasive messages appeal to our emotions. Persuasion requires free choice. Free choice, people are free when they're not forced to comply, and when they can refuse a suggestion, and when they don't feel pressure to act against their own preferences. Another term when we're talking about persuasion is reactance. And this is a defense strategy of resistance that humans adopt when they're feeling concerned, robbed of their autonomy, or restricted in their options by others. Robert Cialdini outlined 6 psychological triggers that can help with persuasion. The first one is reciprocation. And I want to pull up your book here. So it says persuasion is a symbolic process. Symbols can take the form of words, signs, images. For example, words such as liberty, signs such as national flags, and images such as Red Cross for rescue or an apple for computers. These are all symbols that have meaning behind them. Persuasion involves an attempt to influence. Persuasion involves a conscious effort to influence another person with the understanding that change is possible. So when you ask your boss for permission to work from home, you intend to achieve a specific outcome, and you're already assuming that your boss can be swayed. So that's what it means by attempt to influence, that it is an impossibility to influence them. Persuasion is self-persuasion. Ethical communicators give others the choice to accept their arguments by making compelling, honest cases to support them. So it's important here that you understand that when you're persuading, you're planting the seed, but you're not pushing. Persuasion involves transmitting a message. Messages can be, we know, verbal, nonverbal, face-to-face, internet, TV, radio. And they often can appeal to emotions. All right, so it says consider the car commercial playing your favorite tune and showing pristine landscapes, not a grid-like locked interstate during rush hour. So this is a way that they're transmitting a message to make it appealing. And then persuasion requires free choice. And free choice means that people are free when they're not forced to comply. So when they have the right to refuse the idea and they're not pressured to react. So that goes into our next part, which is reactance. This is a defense strategy of resistance that we do when we feel cornered or robbed of our autonomy or restricted in the options by others. So Robert Cialdini outlines 6 psychological triggers that help with persuasion. And the first one is reciprocation. If someone does us a favor, most of us feel obligated to return the favor. So this will aid in persuasion. Commitment. Once we make a choice, we stay consistent with that decision. And I like the example it gives in the book about fundraisers. They may ask for a small amount at first, knowing that we're likely to continue giving once we start. Social proof. Actions are more acceptable to us when others are doing it. And the example here is advertisers like to sell us the product that is best selling, because this message is saying that it must be good because others think so. The next one is liking. We're most likely to accept requests of people we know and like, or those who say they like us. And it says here, Tupperware capitalizes on this impulse to buy from a friend. And then strangers are persuasive if they are likable and attractive. Also, we favor people who are or appear to be like us. Next one is authority. People exude authority. Even con artists can trigger our mechanical blind compliance. And we tend to, as a society, obey authority. And the last one is scarcity. We tend to regard opportunities as more valuable when there is availability, when the availability is restricted. Like, these sales, get it today, one-time offer. That would be an example of scarcity. So here are the effective persuasion techniques. You can also find these in your book. And here they are. I'm not going to read through all of these, but please read through these, because when you're crafting a persuasive message, these are very important to follow. Establish credibility. Make a reasonable, specific request. Tie facts to benefits. Recognize the power of loss. Expect and overcome resistance, share solutions, and compromise. And I want to end with saying this. Make sure that you listen to people, because if they feel like you're listening to them, they're going to be more inclined to accept what you're offering.